today is the day when I start putting down a solid white oak flooring on top of concrete here in my shop. But let's start from the beginning, shall we? Let me show you guys. The one thing that I've really been wanting to change ever since moving into this space is the floor. I mean, it is a concrete floor, it is fine, but I really want to make this space feel comfortable and warm and welcoming. And for that, you really can't beat wood. So I've been looking around for a good deal. I don't want anything fancy, but I would love white oak. And I found a place locally here that sells utility grade, pretty affordable white oak tongue and groove flooring. So we are gonna go into town and pick up quite a bit. Enough for downstairs of this whole shop, enough for the upper floor, and enough for the little shop as well. So this is all the wood. God.
So how long does it take for cook?
First load.
I've been on.
I really weighed it down. So they began with loading up the forklift on top of the truck, but it was just too much weight. So as you can see, it's just rustic on all the wood, and there's lots of little pieces, but this time it was actually better. It was all in the package more. We're putting this floor on top of concrete.
Yes.
Yeah. So what do you have any thoughts on that? What would you recommend?
I would recommend at least a sleeper system. Sleepers are just, they're kind of like joists, but put a vapor barrier down on top of the concrete before you put those down. And then I'd put another vapor barrier on top of the plywood.
Two vapor barriers?
Yes.
Okay.
Don't
like
you agree,
vapor
Chris?
barrier, furring strip, OSB, vapor barrier, and then the flooring.
Yeah. Unless you wanted to glue it. We have an adhesive that we stock that Bostic makes called their Green Force adhesive. And you can actually create a moisture membrane with that.
And then you would glue this down directly.
Yeah.
So no vapor barrier, no OSB.
You could do that. You could use that directly on the concrete.
It sounds like an easier process, like a faster process.
Yeah.
So here we go. 2,000 square feet of flooring. So the guys at the flooring store recommended this special glue, which creates a moisture barrier and glues down the wood floor to the concrete. So after thinking back and forth whether creating an actual flooring, which the one benefit with that is that you could do electrical through there, which would have been nice. But on the other hand, everything gets risen up, it's a lot more work, it's a lot more material to bring into the shop. So going this route with the glue seemed like an easier option. So this is a pretty big space and there's a lot of little pieces. And the idea of gluing one piece down at a time started to seem like a lot of work on the floor. So we started thinking about this concept of gluing together panels of these small pieces using yellow glue. And then gluing down those complete panels with this new glue onto the concrete floor. So I've been doing a ton of glue ups and there are like 12 panels ready to go right now. So time to trim the sides Make them nice and flat and even, and then add tongue and grooves on the sides as well. So this is working out good. One of my newest additions to the shop is this little remote control for the dust collection, and it's the best. No more walking around back and forth all the time, shutting it on and off. I have this controller, it's really cool. Remote control transmitter switch. Works with all dust collectors up to 1.5 horsepower. And I have this little remote. Let me tell you, the shop is going to be a lot of work. I have enough panels right now to do like the first row and maybe a little bit more. It's going to be a lot of rows. So next step here, I was preparing to add tongue and grooves on all the sides with the router so the panels could snap into each other like the individual pieces do. I started on the one panel and then I was like, I think I'm gonna skip this step. I mean, you certainly could do it, but the panels will snap together lengthwise and be secured with the glue. And doing this step seemed like a lot of extra work that probably wouldn't be necessary and might even make it more annoying to put the panels together. So I figured I'd go straight to sanding instead. One of the main reasons why I wanted to put these panels together was to eliminate the amount of work you had to do on the floor. And part of that was sanding. In our old house in Oregon, we sanded down all the hardwood floors before moving in, and yeah, I just remember that being a real pain. So instead, sanding each panel on top of the bench made a lot more sense. Now, I always sand projects outside to reduce dust inside the shop, but with this new setup, this dust separator hooked up to my shop vac, and a sander with dust control, I was able to sand all these panels inside without having really any dust in the air at all. And in my book, that's pretty amazing. So today is the day when I start putting down a solid wide oak flooring on top of concrete here in my shop. Next up, cleaning. So it was time to vacuum this place real well, and I'm using this floor sweep attachment, again on the dust separator and the shop vac, which worked great. And this is mainly because my dust collection doesn't reach in this corner. However, future plans, I have pipes waiting to go up in the ceiling, as well as this ceiling track system, more hoses, and yeah, there's gonna be a lot more dust collection access moving forward. Now these are the times when you're really happy that you put casters on most of the furniture. Makes it a lot easier to move everything around. So I'm gonna divide this shop up and do one section at a time. Get all the stuff, all the machinery and tables and things like that in that corner right now. And I'm gonna do about 180 square feet right here. And then gonna let that dry overnight and then can put everything back on again. Assuming everything goes smoothly, which of course we don't know because I haven't used this product in the past, but we were assured by the professionals that this product was supposed to be perfect for this job.
You can use it as a moisture barrier or not a moisture barrier.
The different trowels.
So the different trowels for the different purposes.
So what does this cost?
$200 a bucket.
$200.
And how many buckets?
Doesn't go far.
With the moisture membrane, you'll
So
get
6.
30,
About probably 240, 250 square feet.
Oh, not much.
So 4 of these, yeah.
Kind of a mix between a peanut butter and pancake batter, kind of. I'm just thinking about if you were putting down each individual piece, you know, each individual little section on top of this glue, that would be kind of annoying, I think, because I can imagine that they would slide a lot and having so many pieces, whereas kind of removing that issue here altogether by having these glued up larger sections, which I think is going to be, I mean, it seems like a really nice solution. Guess we'll see if it continues to work out. And I guess the other thing too is that since these panels are glued up, they won't move individually. But this product remains quite flexible as it dries. In the store they showed us an example and it's like almost like a rubbery a little bit as it dries. So each individual panel may move slightly, you know, because there's a tongue and groove in between them. So that's kind of nice that it remains flexible. Okay, so have put a couple pieces together now, and it's working out pretty good. I guess the main thing to think about, or I guess my mentality here is that if there are like little gaps here and there, it's not a big deal because this is a shop, and I'm gonna fill anything in with like sawdust and glue. So I'm not too crazy if there's a little bit of a gap here and there. But overall, I think it's looking really great. You know, it's like you cover a lot of flooring right away doing it this technique, which is pretty neat. And it's going down relatively quickly. It did 80 square feet in what? 2 hours? 1 hour?
Yeah, in terms of actual working time.
Yeah.
An hour.
Yeah. Of course, there's a lot of flooring to go. So first bucket is empty, and this is about 100 square feet. So I'm gonna put this panel down next, So I know it's not ideal creating these sections, but I'm just gonna cut the groove when it comes to putting these down. I don't feel like cleaning everything off right here.
Can you imagine doing this one by one?
No. That one was easier. This is the glue after a couple of hours. Okay, so got this section completed and everything moved back on there in order to be able to continue doing this stuff. It's definitely a bit of a puzzle, you know, moving one thing to another in order to be able to put the flooring down. So I'm gonna stop this video right here. This was definitely an interesting experience. The glue seems to have performed quite well so far. I haven't really had any issues. It doesn't go very far. But I have to go and get some more glue, prepare more panels, and start this process all over again to continue this workshop. I have a bunch of big tools coming. I have a grizzly jointer and a grizzly planer coming into the shop. So I really would like to move on here and get more prepared before bringing those units into here. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!